Welcome to Fayette County Public Library Storytime. Our first story today is Pinky's Sweet Tooth. Do you have a sweet tooth? I like sweets too. And there's Pinky. Do you have any idea why they call her Pinky? I wonder if it could be because she has such beautiful pink hair. Might be, I don't know. When most people are still snug under their covers, my Aunt Pinky is already at work, cracking eggs, mixing up batter, and putting funny little shapes of dough into the oven. Aunt Pinky owns a bakery named Pinky's Sweet Tooth. Her motto is, "Vegetables can wait, dessert comes first." I think I'd like to eat at her house. When I'm not at school, I help Aunt Pinky at the bakery. It's not easy getting out of bed before the sun comes up. Sometimes I want to turn off my alarm and go back to sleep. But Aunt Pinky is expecting me. So I get up, brush my teeth, and go right over to the Sweet Tooth. It's my job to set out the ingredients. Baking is like magic. You start with some flour, baking powder, and a smidgen of salt. Cream together butter and sugar, crack some eggs, stir in milk, and add a little vanilla. Mix the whole thing up, pop it in the oven, and presto! Out comes a delicious cake. Don't forget the chocolate, Lulu, says Aunt Pinky. Today we'll need extra. I'm making chocolate yummies, chocolate bunny pie, chocolate fudge surprise, chocolate cocoa cups, and 6 triple chocolate frenzy torts. Aunt Pinky always asks for extra chocolate. Chocolate's yummy. When Aunt Pinky first opened the Sweet Tooth, things were a little slow. Most people did not know she made the best desserts in town. There were only a few regular customers. Louie dropped in at noon every day for a slice of fresh blueberry pie. Henrietta arrived before tea time to pick up an assortment of scones. Daisy came before closing time. She couldn't live without the chocolate fudge surprise. Still, there were usually some desserts left over at the end of the day. Don't worry, Aunt Pinky would say. Fame isn't easy to come by. You have to know what you want, work very hard, and have luck on your side. Without luck on your side, well, then you have to get up really early in the morning. One Saturday, a bright yellow envelope arrived at the Sweet Tooth. Inside was an invitation to the county fair. There's going to be a contest for the best dessert in the county, said Aunt Pinky, waving the invitation at me. You make the best desserts in the whole universe, I said. You have to enter the contest. What a wonderful idea, she exclaimed. I have to bake something extraordinary. I must win this contest. By the time we were ready for our cookie break, Aunt Pinky had thought of not one, but 3 possible prize winners. What about my triple chocolate frenzy tort, she said, or my chocolate cocoa cups? Or I could do my chocolate yummies. They're a real crowd pleaser. What about your chocolate bunny pie? I asked. Oh no, cried Aunt Pinky. I completely forgot about my chocolate bunny pie. Later, there was a delay during the afternoon rush. I'll be right with you, said Aunt Pinky to a peevish Henrietta. She was busy searching through her recipe file for the perfect dessert. Several days passed and Aunt Pinky could not decide which dessert to make. She asked her loyal customers for advice. Louis's first choice was his usual mouth-watering blueberry pie. Henrietta suggested her personal favorite, the scrumptious huckleberry pie. Daisy voted for the dessert she couldn't live without, the heavenly chocolate fudge surprise. They were no help at all. Aunt Pinky stayed up late, thinking of new desserts. So many of them tempted her sweet tooth, she decided it was time to ask an expert, someone who knew the difference between pretty good and out of this world. Someone like me. On Friday afternoon, Aunt Pinky made up a batch of every kind of cake, pie, and cookie she could think of. I poured a glass of cold milk and got right to work. I had narrowed my decision to either a chocolate yummy, a tutti frutti cookie, a cherry cheese dream, or a chocolate bunny pie when Aunt Pinky came out of the kitchen again. Lulu, you've got to try these. I just came up with some new recipes. She was holding a tray piled high with treats, and she was covered in flour from head to tail. Everything was delicious. Finally, I had to admit that I didn't know which dessert was the yummiest, and I was ready to burst. What were we going to do? The rules said one dessert per contestant, and the county fair was tomorrow. I don't know what you would choose. What do you think Pinky's going to choose? It's a tough decision, isn't it? That night, Aunt Pinky called me at home. Lulu, meet me at the dessert booth tomorrow morning, she said. What dessert are you making? I asked. I can't talk right now, she replied. I've got a lot of baking to do. And there we see her. She's just doing all kinds of things, getting ready for tomorrow. The next day, I got to the fair early and went right to the dessert booth. Aunt Pinky was not there yet. When the mayor arrived, there was still no sign of her. I wondered where she could be. The mayor started the judging by sampling a cottage cheese pie. Never heard of that kind before. The contestants watched eagerly as he worked his way through an oatmeal prune square, a raisin pound cake, and an orange marmalade tart. I started to worry. Would Aunt Pinky get here before the contest ended? The mayor was biting into a sour cream babka when I finally spotted Aunt Pinky. She was pulling something so huge, people had to get out of the way to let her through. Lulu, I've outdone myself this time, she told me when she arrived at the booth. She unveiled her masterpiece. Now, here is her wagon, and here is this big, tall, it's all covered up. I wonder what it is. Can you guess? What in the world is that? Gasped the mayor. I couldn't decide which one of my favorite recipes to make, exclaimed Aunt Pinky. So I made them all. It's a triple chocolate yummy bunny cocoa fudge frenzy tort. Surprise! The crowd cheered. It was the most wonderful dessert we had ever seen. Look at it. Wow, if you couldn't find something you like there, you're in trouble. Well, almost everyone cheered. The mayor sniffed loudly and said, "Quiet, please. I have made my decision." Then he gave the first prize to a teeny tiny, no sugar, no honey, no fat, no icing piece of crumb cake with not even a bit of chocolate. I demanded to know why Aunt Pinky had lost. There are rules, my dear, the mayor declared. That looks like more than one dessert to me. I was all set to give him a piece of my mind when Aunt Pinky spoke. Sometimes, Mr. Mayor, to create something extraordinary, you have to bend the rules. She quickly covered the giant dessert. Lulu, I know just the spot for this baby, she said cheerfully. Ooh, I wonder what her plan is. She has a big plan. It wasn't long before everyone heard about Aunt Pinky's giant dessert. People started coming from all over just to see the triple chocolate yummy bunny cocoa fudge frenzy torte surprise. You can't miss it. It's right in front of the enormously popular Pinky's Sweet Tooth. Just looking at that giant cake makes people hungry. It's a good thing we have so many yummy desserts to eat. The only hard part is picking just one. That would be hard at Pinky's. Okay, Miss Lisa.
Well, that story sure made me hungry. And if you look at the cover of this picture of this book, it looks like Mr. Tiger's got a fork and a knife. Looks like he's hungry too. This little guy saying, "Wait, I want to tell you a story." So let's see what happens. Oh my goodness, there's a shark and a frog. Once there was a muskrat sitting quietly in a tree. Along came a tiger. You look at the tiger, he's got himself a thing around his neck like he's going to eat, like a napkin. "I'm going to eat you, little muskrat," said the tiger. "Wait," said the muskrat, "I want to tell you a story." "Okay," said the tiger, "but make it quick." "Once upon a time," said the muskrat, "there was a frog sitting on a pond, and a big shark came up through the water and said, 'I'm going to eat you, little frog.'" "Wait," said the frog, "I want to tell you a story." "Okay," said the shark, "but make it quick." "Once upon a time," said the frog, "there was a lizard sitting on a rock. A big snake came along and said, 'I'm going to eat you, little lizard.'" "Wait," said the lizard, "I want to tell you a story." "Okay," said the snake, "but make it quick." "Once upon a time," said the lizard, "there was a fly sitting on a web. And a big spider came along and said, 'I'm going to eat you, little fly.'" "Wait," said the fly, "I want to tell you a story." "I don't want to hear it," said the spider. And the spider ate the fly. "And I," said the tiger, "am going to eat you, little muskrat." "Wait," shouted the muskrat, "there's more." The lizard ate the spider, and the snake ate the lizard, and the frog ate the snake, and the shark ate the frog. "What happened then?" asked the tiger. "The crocodile ate the tiger," said the muskrat. "What crocodile?" Uh-oh. Did the tiger see the crocodile coming? Don't think so. Snap! And the muskrat got away. There he goes. He's all smug back in his tree, isn't he? His big long story got him free. All right, so boys and girls, we are going to put this story back in order. So if you remember, what happens first is that there is a cute little muskrat, right? Now, can you tell me, can you remind me, Who ate the muskrat, or who wanted to eat the muskrat? If you said tiger, you were right. So the tiger wants to eat the muskrat. Well, the muskrat starts his story off, doesn't he? And he says, well, once upon a time in my story, there is a frog. Now, boys and girls, can you remember in the story that the muskrat told who wanted to eat the frog? You said shark. You were right. But that frog said, hey on, Mr. Shark. I have a story to tell you. And in his story, there was a little lizard. And who was going to eat the lizard in the frog story? Can we remember? If you said snake, you were right. So the snake was going to eat the lizard, the shark was going to eat the frog, the tiger was going to eat the muskrat. But the story continues. The lizard says, wait, Mr. Snake, let me tell you a story. And so in his story, there is a spider, and the fly gets in his web. And the spider says, I'm going to eat you, Mr. Fly. And the fly says, no, let me tell you a story. But did the spider listen? No way. The spider went ahead and ate the fly, didn't he? Well, then the tiger was like, well, that's a nice story. I'm still going to eat you, Mr. Muskrat. And then he sort of changes up the whole story. Do you remember how it sort of ends? It ends with the lizard eating the spider. The snake then eating the lizard. The frog then eats the snake. And then the shark does eat the frog. And the muskrat's still just sitting there. Like my story? Muskrat sort of is in the middle of all of this. And the tiger says, well, that's a cool story. And the muskrat says, hey, but there's one more critter that's going to come after you. You guys remember how the story ends? What comes up to get that tiger? But a big old crocodile. So, pretty neat story about animals eating animals. And that muskrat, he gets away and gets all smug in his tree, and he survives to tell another story. Pretty cool one. Miss Kim, do you have another story for us?
I do. Since we end with the crocodile, here we go. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. Solomon crocodile. I wonder what happens with this crocodile. All is peaceful on the banks of the river. Everyone is relaxing in the morning sun until what? Can you guess? Everything is peaceful until uh-oh, here comes trouble. He's kind of a pretty crocodile. All speckled and spotted, and almost looks glittery, doesn't he? Solomon splats and slops through the mud to make the frogs jump. You see the frogs? Can you count the frogs on the page? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see 5 frogs. But the frogs croak, "Go away, Solomon. You're nothing but a pest." So Solomon shakes the bulrushes and bugs the dragonflies. Oh my. I'm not going to take time to count all those dragonflies.
That's a lot of them, Miss Kim.
That's a bunch. But the dragonflies sing, "Go away, Solomon. You're nothing but a nuisance." Solomon decides to stalk the storks. They get in such a flap. They're not happy either. Can you count the storks? 1, 2. Go away, Solomon, the storks squawk. You're nothing but a pain. Wow. He's just in all kinds of trouble, isn't he? Out of the corner of his eye, Solomon spies the biggest hippo in the river. Oh, do you see the biggest hippo in the river? Could it be this one? This could be the best fun yet, he thinks. I wonder what he has planned for the hippos. Solomon charges! But what? What do you think's going to happen? I don't know if I'd want to go after a giant hippo. Solomon, roars the biggest hippo. Go away, you're nothing but trouble. And look at Solomon. I think he might have met his match. Poor Solomon. No one wants to play. That's all he wants to do is play, and no one wants to play. Don't you feel sorry for Solomon? But then Solomon hears a noise. Somebody's making the frogs jump. I wonder who it could be. Someone is bugging the dragonflies. And somebody has the storks in a flap. But it is not Solomon. You have any guesses? Who could it be? Somebody is getting nearer and nearer. Do you see that one eye peeking out? I wonder what it is. Snap! Uh-oh! Here comes double trouble! I think we see the dragonflies and the frogs and the stork and the hippo does not look happy. Double trouble. I don't think it was very peaceful there. All Solomon wanted to do was play. You have trouble like that sometimes? All you want to do is play, but nobody else wants to play. I don't know. I used to have trouble like that. I just hope you're not trouble like Solomon was. Well, that's all for today. We hope you had a great time. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.